Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we've got a huge program in store for you because we're going to be talking to Steve Marshall.
Speed Marshall.
Speedy Marshall.
Speedy Marshall, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve Marshall, he's one of the Marshalls, Vaughan Marshall's, what's he, nephew?
Son.
Is he son?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a son, and then there's all the other
Jeremy.
Marshalls. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
And they own Marshall's World of Sport, but he
Yeah.
works for Tab Gold, I think.
He works for Gold Circle.
Gold Circle, yeah.
He does track and ball.
Track and
he
ball,
does
yeah.
the marketing here.
Track and ball, Tab Gold, the whole
I
damn.
don't know about
page.
Tab Gold. He does the marketing and everything. So
Okay.
we'll pick into him.
Okay, well, you're going to get busy with him. He's going to be talking to us about the Chapter Challenge, which is a great competition. We all love it over the winter season. Pick out your horses. Goes to charity. Leff will find out exactly how.
Yeah,
the
I'll
whole
find
thing
out what
works.
goes to charity, what goes to the prize money, how they've changed the format. Be interesting speaking to him.
Yeah, can they give some of the money to the Sharks?
They don't need it.
They need some players. And
They don't need it.
coach.
They were good enough to win away from home, Jim.
Yeah, were they?
They weren't comfortably. They did have the benefit of playing 13 men at one stage,
Yeah,
but they were the better side.
yeah.
And then the Storm was too good for the Bulls
Well, it was close again. Yeah.
and the Lions.
The Lions. I actually was ashamed at the refereeing decisions. I mean, the
Yeah.
Crusaders
There's some
were
strange
offside
calls, yeah.
the whole time. The Lions had their measure in the scrum, and they had 5 penalties against them in scrums. It's not possible. And
they're
that's
good
a problem.
scrummers.
That's the problem with having a Williams referee, Paul Williams, because he's a New Zealander. You cannot have. They've got to be parochial.
Bring in an Aussie.
Exactly. At least the Aussies will favour the New Zealanders, not so much though.
Jim, just talking sport, your beloved Arsenal.
They're going off the radar.
There's a word on the going around that you might dump them as a supporter.
I've dumped them.
Already?
At the end of the season,
You've got to
they're
support them. You can start getting rid of your kids.
Why do you have to? So what?
You support
People
them.
get rid of their kids, and I'm telling you, I'm getting rid of Arsenal. I don't
James, you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
The fight is still on for the top. They managed to overcome Burnley, Manchester City, so they now go back on top, and Liverpool won comfortably 5-0 at Huddersfield. But the interesting thing is, for third and fourth for the Champions League, there are 4 teams that can do it. Now, those 4 teams, Jim, have played 14 games amongst them. Only one is won. Spurs won a game.
Last 14 games or something.
The last 14 games, with Arsenal being involved, Spurs being involved, Chelsea and Man City won. This weekend, Spurs lost. Arsenal, your beloved Arsenal, lost 3-0. And Man United,
And you want me to support Arsenal?
I don't want you to support Arsenal. I want you to stick with the team you start with.
Why?
Because when they were the Invincibles, you were there, you were wearing red shirts.
Exactly.
No,
But you know
that's
what?
fair weather.
No, that's not fair weather at all. When you look at the team today, there's not one thing I like about the team, okay? They don't play Ozil, who's the best player in their squad.
Mobba Young's a very good player.
Okay? They don't play Ozil, and they've now got rid of Ramsey. And
They've
those
been
are the only 2 players that I liked in the squad. The
So
rest of
who are
them,
you going to support?
I can't stand Socrates.
Who are you going to support? Wigan
I
or
think,
something?
No, I think I'll support Southampton. It was the first game I ever went to, and I think I'll support them. I like their manager, and I like Terry.
Okay, if you like him, manager, what's his name?
And I like Terry Payne. He's got some Dutch.
You don't even know the manager's name.
Okay.
Can you name me 2 Southampton players?
Yes, Virgil van Dijk.
Ex-Southampton, you go. James,
Long's
you
a
are a
great
fair
player.
weather supporter.
Long's a great player. I like him. Okay.
You remembered Long.
He's named after me. All right, but we haven't stopped there yet. Okay, it's not finished, this whole soccer thing. Because what is going to happen now with Liverpool and Manchester City?
I think Manchester City are going to not lose a game, and I think that's going to be the reason they win. If they do drop a game, and I don't think there's really a banana skin in their way, I do feel that Liverpool have got Wolves in their last game, which could be a banana skin, but it might not be enough for them to win.
Yeah, the problem is Liverpool have
Played well. One defeat, great side.
Yeah,
Fantastic
they've
team.
got to have the Man City lose a game or draw a game for them to have a chance.
Yeah, they have to draw.
Yeah.
No, it's Man City are very good, and they just inches got their goal, but they created so many chances. It was a bit like Pearl Harbor at one stage, just they kept bombarding that goal.
Yeah, but credit to Burnley. They played nicely.
Would you like to be a supporter of Bernie, Brighton? You go there every week. They've got 11 men in the box defending.
At least they try. You know, we were playing against
football.
We were playing against Crystal Palace about 3 weeks ago.
Who's we?
Arsenal. Okay, yeah. we now in this top 4 fight.
Yes.
We go 1-0 up in the 12th minute.
And you button.
They actually sat around and kicked the ball to each other for the other 78 minutes, whereas they should have scored 6. So that at least on goal difference, you got a chance. I can't stand having non-professional supporting a non-professional
and then you can go
team.
support Burnley.
That is not professional.
All right, no problem, Jim. I'm with you, but I'll follow Southampton with you. Get to know a couple of players, to know where they play from.
Shane Long's my mate, and Terry Payne's my bigger mate. Okay, so Terry Payne,
and Matthew Letizia. Do you know what players?
And what about Mick Channon?
Yeah.
Now Mick Channon's son wrote a book.
Sam,
do you know that?
Yeah, Sam
Shannon.
Yes.
What do you think he called the book?
Something about Dad.
How's your dad?
Yeah. That's right. How's your dad?
It's the same with me. When I write a book, I'm going to call it "How's Your Dad" too. Everyone as it says, "Hello, James. How's your dad?"
Yeah.
You know, that's.
Or you might call it "How's Leff?"
How's Leff? Yeah.
How's Leff? And Jim? How's Leff? Because they always ask me, "How's Leff? How's Jim?"
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Jim. Let's go look at the 3 you found us.
Okay, let's go to the 3 to follow because we've got time on our side. We go to Turfentine. First race, Saturday. Remember, there was no racing during the week. So we go to the first race on Saturday, and we go and look at a horse of Tyrone Zaki's called...
I'll give us a nice little intro first, Jim.
Shall we wait for the intro?
Yeah, let's have an intro.
Okay, let's have the intro. Well, you know, because we can't find a sponsor for the intro slot. Yeah. We just don't even need the intro. Okay, let's go to Turfentine. First race, Royal Siege. Tyrone Zaki, and I must tell you, this is bred by a Waterford stud. This is a damn nice horse. He's JPEG Colt.
Out of a Fortwood mare.
Yeah, out of a Fortwood mare. This is quite, you know, Tyrone Zaki, he can find horses. I mean, he's
amazing how he finds them, Tyrone.
Yeah,
well done to him.
Well done. Yeah, let's go and see this. This ran a cracking good race.
Yeah, here it is. Here, it doesn't know much about racing. It's a debutant, and it's a length and a half, maybe 2 lengths away from the speed. And the speed's on. It's your favourite. The favourite who wins the race, a horse called Elrums, who's by soft falling rain. They're starting to produce their winners. And this horse wins a very good race. It gets pressured all the time. But the horse that we found, Royal Siege, is on the fence and being scrubbed to hold his position. And it battles to hold his position until they get into the stretch.
Even in the stretch, he's giving it a couple of backhanders. And here it's third last and really not going anywhere. And Al Rams is cantering along in front and ends up winning from the front, the soft falling rain. They've started to have a few winners, and he might be a force in the 2-year-old championship this year.
Yeah.
Because the soft falling rains look like they'd be early, and they're starting to come now. But this horse, Al Rams, is on the inside with the red cap.
Yeah, here it is. It's in 6th if you count the horses. And Mr. Klink's riding it. He gives a 1 or 2. So start thinking about it. And at this stage, you're not going to pick up a check. But suddenly this horse goes out after them and runs a very good race, eh?
Well, here Klink puts his hands down, his stick down, and he just punches him out, hands and heels. And he actually runs a clear second. And I thought he ran a cracking race, and I think he might be quite a nice horse in his next start. I think you'd really like to follow him.
Yeah.
He's certainly one of those ones that we're going to have a look at. We're going to go to Kenilworth on Saturday as well. First race. They went down the straight there, and we found 1,200 metres. We found the horse that ran second. It was a triumph for Drockenstein this race. But I really liked the horse that ran second. I liked the name because he was my favourite artist, and I did my thesis on John Constable when I was studying. And so I love the name, and I watched this horse closely.
I heard you were in the police force.
No,
that's how you got the name.
I was an artist. I wasn't Constable Goodman. I was an artist. Okay, let's go and see them at the start. It's drawn right on the outside.
Yeah, this is another interesting race here. Constable slow out, you'll see. It's in the Drockenstein colours and doesn't get away with him. And Bernard Fader doesn't panic, he sits back. And there's a lot of early speed towards the inside. You know, you've got Grey Again, Celtic Voyager, Wool Scarlet, Stormy Norman. And your winner shows good speed in the red cap, joining them up front. Also a Drakensberg horse, but this has got the red cap. It's trained by Brett Crawford, and it's interestingly enough, a King Barnes, the winner, out of a trippy mare. But the one that Jim's found is a trippy, out of Point Celeb mare.
Yeah, Point Celeb mare, and nice mare she is, Aquatant. And this horse is just cantering along behind them, but he gets a bit lost when they put the pressure on him. He's just starting to feel a Bernard Fade Herb, starts to ask him to quicken up. The King's Barn's going very well in front. Most of the King's Barns have got these white faces. They're quite striking looking horses, and they're certainly starting to come to their own. Now, this one comes on the outside. He's on the left-hand side of your screen, and he now starts getting a vigorous ride. The King's Barn now gets the whip out, and Constable runs on really well at the death.
Yeah, King of Gems holds him off. A very good race for Drakensberg, and very, very good for the new stallion. And Jim, Flower Alley had a couple of winners over the weekend too.
Yeah, they're starting to come. There's the race is hotting up. Vercingetorix had another winner as well.
Right, yeah.
So
good stallions coming through.
The race is hotting up for the young stallions, because we need some young stallions.
Yeah,
the three old boys are gone, or two
Lost
of them
Captain
are gone.
L, Lost Dynasty,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to the next one, and this is by another young stallion. We go to the first race on the Poly at Greyville. And the winner went to the front and held on by a diminishing neck. The horse that ran second had two barrier trials. Amazing. They gave it two barriers. The first barrier was moderate, awful. The second barrier knew a whole lot more about it on Greyville on the Poly track, and ran third in a much better time. So there were indications that this horse could run, but he wasn't drawn well. Let's go and pick him up at the start.
Yeah, there we go. It's in Mario Ferreira's colours. It's a horse called Another Secret, and ridden by Diego de Guava. He lets it drift across beautifully. He looks to where the better ground is. The winner's a horse called Mai Tai. It's a Vercingetorix filly owned by Terry Young. Nice to see young Terry back in the game. Joey Ramsden falls off Sacred Ibis. I'm pleased to announce that he has riding work at Summerfeld this morning, so he's fine. No problems with him. But the horse we found in this photo here, second last, Jim.
Yeah, on the outside getting scrubbed along. The winner's in front in the yellow and red colours. This, as I said, is a time thief. It was bred by Naderson Park, which is Hassan Adams.
That's right.
And now switches in. The winner's in front, as I said, the Vercingetorix filly. She's a nice, big, strong filly. And I think that this second horse ran a cracking good race. Time Thief, he should produce a couple of fast horses as well.
Good horses internationally. Has to find some good horses. This runs its first race after the two trials, as you said, and really gets after him. Diego gets us out, and it gets very close to the line, but Mai Tai stays on.
Yeah, and Joburg Raider ran third. Hot Favourite ran fourth, but certainly looked like a horse that's going to come on from, and Dennis Bosch's horses do normally come on. So that's worth having a close look at next time it runs as well. We're going to go and have a look at where are they now, and we got certainly the most well-fed guy in KwaZulu-Natal as our sport today, and nice to see him. You'll all remember him. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hi guys, David Gosia, also known as Dick Goss, thanks to Mr. Paul Lafferty. I'm still around, was training for about 30 years, gave up to concentrate on my business, which is steel construction, but still involved in horse racing, having shares with a couple of trainers, Paul, Pat Lunn and Gary Rich. So I am seen now and again on the race course when I have a runner. Good to stay involved. Thank you.
If you've been involved in horse racing in South Africa but have either moved away, immigrated or retired, we want to hear from you. Send us a short 30-second video recording on WhatsApp and we'll flight it on the show. Clips can be sent to either James on 071 588 5769 or Paul on 083 779 1311. We look forward to hearing from you.
Well, anyone can send us one of those little WhatsApp clips. You've all seen what it's all about now, and obviously we'd like to know where you are. We're trying to get hold of people that we do know. And Davy Goss is
he's been around the block, you know.
Great supporter.
Great supporter of the industry. He was a good trainer. He won the Derby. He had a horse called Comarine. He went down and won the Derby for King and Knut and the boys. He won a lot of feature races up here in Natal, and larger than life character, but he's got a very good business at the moment.
Yeah, Dave Go Construction. He's he's a proper tycoon.
He's known for these erections he puts up.
It's permanent erections.
All the time, everywhere. He's very good.
Yeah.
And a great character. Always good to see him on the race course. Never scared to have a say.
Yeah.
I saw him stride at the staff's office one day. I told him, the guy, you know what happened? There was a dead heat for second.
Yeah.
And the one horse was involved with the winner. So they pushed the horse who was involved with the winner into first, brought first down to dead heat second. His horse was dead heat second on the other side. It had to go up as well.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And Dave walked in and said to, I think it was Crowley was the chief staff. He said, hey, I've never met God, but pleased to meet you. God's a Lulu in his day. Yeah, but well done. Thanks very much. Good to know that he's about.
Great guy, yeah. And we see him regularly. He really, he loves going to the track. And
he loves his horses,
And he's involved, and he puts some of the money, the huge fortune he's making now, back into the business. So great, good for you, Dickie. We're nice having you on our show. And as I say, there are other people out there. Let's hear from you. Let's go and see the plum of the week.
Shamrock Wind starts to make progress. Nasta Gal's also starting to get into the race. They come down to the final 400. Helen's Ideal, still the one in front and has the lead. Charged Affairs, Miss Plumcake, Shamrock Wind and Starfighter. Now starts to kick on in behind those. It's Helen's Ideal at the 200. Starfighter and Shamrock Wind are chasing hard in behind that. Helen's Ideal still goes. Shamrock Wind is coming late up the outside with Starfighter, but Helen's Ideal go all the way. And Helen's Ideal goes on to score from Shamrock Wind. Starfighter, and then came Charged Affairs.
Well, this filly ended up 17-10 with your local fella, and Interbet, you could have got 5-2 or 3-1 at any time. She was the bet of the weekend. We believed, if you look at her form, she had outstanding form. This filly, she ran 5th in the Derby behind our tribe. She won her next start. She's a tough front runner, and Paul Reeves has done a marvelous job for Peter de Beer and Paul Barrett. I think he owns it. Paul Barrett, don't get in a golf game with him.
Is that right?
He's good, eh?
Is he good, eh?
I mean, he's the best
The
player
Cox
you've
League?
ever seen. He'll eat anyone off his handicap. But golf's all about your handicap. It's
That's
not
right,
about
eh?
anything else.
Golf, yeah.
No.
My handicap
Anyway.
is my golf.
It was bred by Peter de Beer, and as I said, Paul Reeves certainly done very, very well with this.
Ideal
filly.
World out of Fortwood Mare.
Yeah, yeah. And if you remember the Derby, she was in front till the last 150. Just got run out of it. Very good mare. And
Very good. Very
certainly
good
could
filly.
have got a hell of a price on Interbet.
That's
This had
right.
been with a big stable, it would have been odds on.
Yeah.
you know.
No,
So-
well done to Paul Reeves.
Very nice. We'll be back with current affairs.
Whenever anyone asks me for a shrewd tip, my first response is always to tell them open an Interbet account. That's the biggest certainty that I can give any punter with total confidence. Not only is it a good business, but it is interactive, exciting, and great entertainment as well. My name is Snowy Brown. I'm a sports fanatic, and I'm all about sports betting because of the unpredictability, the enjoyment of the team being the underdog and finishing first, or a team scoring the winning goal in the last seconds of a match to be the victors. The beauty about this is that if I'm betting on the soccer, I can use in-play betting, which allows me to bet across multiple areas of the game, knowing I have full control of my betting spread And where my money goes gives me satisfaction that Interbet has given me the power to control my bets. In my opinion, Interbet were the pioneers of online and Mobi betting in South Africa and will continue to lead the way. Interbet, where the professionals bet.
Hi and welcome to Current Affairs. We've got 3 stakes races we're going to be showing you. One was in Cape Town and 2 were overseas, the Champions Mile and the QE2 Cup. Some good racing, Jim.
Fabulous racing at Charlton, and really fun to watch the South African horses stepping out and running. And it was a triumph for Tony Millard with Singapore Sling. I mean, to run second in that race behind
Very
Beauty
good.
Generation.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And beautifully prepared to get into the right race.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to take on the QE2 Cup. He said that there was a very strong field and he only had one horse to beat in the other race. So he might as well have a go. So this was fun.
Yeah. So what did you think of the Winter Guineas? We're going to show them the winner's a tough horse, Jim.
God, he's a good horse.
Because that what's his name, Vardy,
Yeah.
I thought was going to win.
Yeah. It put the pressure on.
Put the pressure. Let's have a look at it. This is the Winter Guineas, the Grade 3 race down in Cape Town. And well worth watching. Arthur Marcus, Bernard Faydurb at their best in a very tight finish. Let's have a look at it.
Racing about 6 lengths off them. They've been followed after that by Herodotus. In behind that one, Fabian's the back marker. They straighten up and head for home with 600 for the line in the Winter Guineas. One World tries to make every poster winning. One still has the lead. Majestic Mozart, Vardy in the centre. Russadair's got about 3 or 4 to go from there as they come to the final 400. One World still goes. Vardy starts to close in. Majestic Mozart, wider out Herodotus. They come inside the final 200 now. It's Vardy who's come forward to join One World in front. These are the 2 for Majestic Mozart. Vardy with his head in front. One World's fighting right back towards the inside. One World and Vardy. These are the 2 head for head as they drive up to the line. One World and Vardy. Here comes the line. One World has kept going from Vardy. Then came Majestic Mozart in behind that. And then...
Yeah, great display of riding by 2 great riders. And Arthur Marcus knows the horses. One World has always been a fighter, Jim. This Captain gets into a scrap because the Vardy, as I thought, was going to grab him if you watch the race. But this is a good horse, One World. So is Vardy, obviously.
Yeah, it's very interesting that One World's won a couple of races like this. He looks like he's beaten.
He's a
200
fighter.
to run, 100 to run, and he just, Marcus gets the best out of him. He carries on, he gets back and gets his head up in front. So he's a really, really good horse. He's out of a Giant's Causeway mare, and by Captain Al, he might be looking to get even further in this. It will be interesting to see now that they've won the Guineas, where they're going to run him in the next leg.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it's very interesting because the top 2 would have pedigrees that would be mile tops, I'd say. But amazing stallion. And you know what I found amazing? Vaughan Marshall trained Captain Al. Every year he seems to buy the best one.
Yeah.
He just wins the Guineas.
And let me tell you, I think at the sales this year, he bought the best one again. He bought it for 225,000 for Ken Truter. Lot 30 was the best Captain Al, I thought, on the sale. Went for 2. It was early in the sale, was ridiculous. And I liked it as the best Captain Al on the sale.
Yeah, he does an amazing job, Vaughan. He really is. When you know he steps out, he's got a new one that's a 2 for 2. He's a superstar waiting. So
Stealth Bomber, I think its name is.
Sorry,
Stealth Bomber.
Yeah. He knows how to find them. It's amazing.
But he trained Captain Al, so he obviously knows what the traits are to look for. But on top of that, then he gets the best out of them. He's a damn
very
good trainer. Anyway,
it was a good day.
His son's coming in to talk to us later. We'll be able to tune him up a little bit.
We'll tune him up, So that was the Winter Guineas, the Grade 3.
What is an interesting thing? What does a handicapper do now with these horses?
Well, he's got to evaluate them.
Well, one world's 117 and Vardy's 100.
Yeah.
17. There was 1 pound between them at the finish, and there's 17 pounds on the handicap. Okay.
He's got to.
So that's 8.5 kilos on the handicap. Now, what do you do?
It'd be interesting to see. I'd like to hear. We'll follow up on that and see how they do it. But Jim, let's go and have a look at our international racing now. Jim, I don't know, you got some amazing stats of the influence of South African people in the QE2. Do you want to do that later?
Yeah, let's do the mile first, because that's what we're going to see first.
Sure.
The Champions Mile, obviously I brought out the stats of overseas horses that won the Champions Mile. Only 2 overseas horses have ever won the Champions Mile. One is Maurice from Japan, and the second one was Variety Club.
Who trotted up?
Mike de Kock, 2014 with Anton Marcus, trotted up, Third, in 2013, Washong Mowing rode the winner on Dan Excel. And when we talk about the QE2 Cup, you'll see how influential Washong Mowing was in Hong Kong. But this race was won by the champion, Beauty Generation. But for us, the run of Singapore Sling, who beat a slew of Group 1 winners behind him, was a cracking good run. And Tony Millard, well done to him. As I said in the beginning of the show, I was chatting to him at the sales. He's telling me about Blowdown and how important it is that we're able to export horses here. Because he says that Engelbert Bridges, who's
right behind us,
is 100% behind us and trying to get everything done.
The French are pushing forward for us. Well, I had a chat with Toddy, and Toddy's been following up when I spoke with him at the sales. And let's hope it happens, sure.
Yeah, well, we'll be following up in the next couple of weeks with a chat to Professor Ian Sanner. He's coming on the show. He's going to tell us about the new tests that they have, which are going to make a huge difference. So there's lots of things happening out there, and as a result, we'll be talking about them later in the show.
Should we go through the racing news first? You got some great information. That name of that American...
Let's watch our races first.
Okay, well, let's go and have a look at the first race. This is the Champions Mile. And the hot favourite, Zach Purton, was riding this front runner called Beauty Generation. Singapore Sling is the South African connection. Carice Teeton and Tony Millard.
They're racing in the Champions Mile, and Beauty Generation stepped perfectly. Romantic Touch on the inside, can't match his speed. Singapore Sling away nicely, very prominent. He's just drifting back now as Simply Brilliant kicks through to his inside. He will press forward now and try and get outside of Beauty Generation, who takes the lead in the Champions Mile and strides towards the 1,200 metres with a length advantage now over Romantic Touch, and Singapore Sling settles down third. Simply Brilliant, a length and a half away in fourth, and then 2 back to Conti, who's ridden patiently at the 1,000. 2.5 further back, Rise High on the outside of Seasons Bloom. Beauty Generation pounding the turf, a length on Romantic Touch as they work through the bend at the 850. Singapore Sling punching at the breeze third. Simply Brilliant is fourth. 2 then to Conti, followed by Rise High and Seasons Bloom. Last of all, he's 7 from the champ as they swing inside the 650 metre point. 25.3, 22.9, and Purton starts to turn up the burners as they come to the home corner. 500 metres out, Beauty Generation 2 clear. Romantic Touch, Singapore Sling, Simply Brilliant, Conti to the outside, Rise High, and then Seasons Bloom. Beauty Generation down to the 300 metres, starts to really lift, pounds away from the opposition. Singapore Sling, Conti, Rise High running on, Purton sitting motionless, 3 in front on Beauty Generation. What a remarkable season it's been. Another incredible racing story, a second Champions Mile.
Whoa, that's a good one, Jim. That's a galloper. When he ran through the 200, he was looking for the opposition, and that was Tony Millard's horse chasing hard. But this is a very good horse, Jim.
Geared down, Absolutely. 133 and there's some change.
Yeah.
Pretty good. That's useful.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to take a break and just have a look at what we got for Magic Millions, because we've got a couple of sales coming up and we want to talk to you about them. Let's go and see.
Mystic Journey going well. Mystic Journey by over 2. Mystic Journey does it easily. Fedora in front. Unlucky last year. She's the hero tonight, Fedora.
Boom Sarah, Bondi out back, Barbie, they hit the line. Boom Sarah.
Well, we've got to look at the June sale. And for those of you that have just been around the sales in South Africa, there's a lot of positivity about what might happen as far as exports are concerned. And now seems a perfect time, if we get this export thing right, to go to Australia and go and buy some broodmares in foal with foals at foot, weanlings. There's a weaning sale. Bring them back here. You're going to be selling these horses for money in a year. If you can see what's going to happen in a year to 18 months' time, there is going to be a slew of overseas money coming to buy our horses.
Absolutely.
If these guys get it right, and there's no better way than going to buy yourself an Australian, bring it back here, and get ready for one of our sales.
Yeah.
You could end up doing very,
Go
very well.
weanlings, yearlings to win
Weanlings,
races. Yeah,
fabulous market. And I think that's going to happen, because they pay a lot of money for these Australian horses to go there direct. Can you imagine what they'll be paying from here, paying in rands? They'll be very happy to buy them. It's very interesting, and the broodmare sale is the 28th to the 31st of May, which is a good time for South African breeders as well. Remember, there's no covering season. You can get over there and have a look. Let's move on to the QE2 Cup. Now, the QE2 Cup, the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, was won by London News in the 90s. Doug White and Alec Laird went over there. Remember, those days we were able to fly the horse directly there. He went into quarantine for a week before, 10 days before, and ran.
Yeah.
And things have changed quite considerably in the last 20 years since then. But I thought we'd go through, before we show the race, what an influence South Africa has had on the race. And we started with 2001. Who do you think won it? Best stallion in South Africa?
Silvana?
Silvano. Yeah,
That's
well
right,
done.
yeah.
You are so sharp this morning. I tell you, Steve Marshall's got problems with you.
He's under pressure.
No, he's under big pressure.
Yeah.
2004, River Dancer won the race. South African connection, Glyn Schofield, rode it for John Size.
Okay.
2005, who do you think won it? Stallion in South Africa, at main chance.
Archie Pinker. No.
Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix.
Anthony Delpeche rode it for, I think David Ferraris. Did he train it? Did it go to, I thought Mike de Kock might have taken Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix might train it.
Yeah, Mike de Kock.
Definitely Mike de Kock.
Yeah. Then 2006, Washong Mowing rode it for de Kock. Iridescence.
Good filly.
Remember, Team
Very,
Valor.
very good.
Yeah.
Beat Ouija board.
Yeah. They beat Ouija board.
The Cape Cross filly. Ouija board, yeah, that's right.
Exactly. That was 2006. 2008, who won it?
No idea.
Archie,
your
Pinker.
beauty.
Kevin Shea.
Shazzy.
Yes, he won it. Was the one time they didn't have Johnny Murter in the race. Because Johnny Murter would have put him in. He would have put him in a pocket, and that would have been the end of Shazzy. You know.
That's right.
Yeah, we've got to be quite when Shazzy comes and helps us on the show. Mike de Kock again. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the interesting thing this year, Archie Penko had two full brothers running in the race.
Can you believe it? He's a good stallion. He's thrown some very good horses. I'm very proud that I trained one.
Yeah.
I've got an Archie Pinker.
Time Warp, Glorious Forever, both ran in this year's race. Okay. Right, that was Archie Pinker, 2008, Shea de Kock. 2010, Viva Bataka. Washong Mowing rode it. Yeah. 2011, Ambitious Dragon. Tony Millard. And Doug White.
Doug White, there you go.
Dougie White. I see him, he's all over social media. He's now in Australia learning to me. He's going about it the right way. Yeah. So those were the interests that we had, and obviously things have waned because it's been so difficult to get horses out of this country.
Difficult and costly, and now we've got to get them out.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so shall we go and have a look at this?
Yeah, let's have a look at this race.
Let's go and pick up the QE2 Cup.
Starter has them. They're off in the QE2 Cup, and it was a beautiful start. Windbright doesn't muster that quickly, and Donoso's back towards the tail early with Eagle Way. Time Warp wider out. He's thrashing forward, and so too is little brother Glorious Forever down on the rail. Furore's gone forward like he did in the Derby, and he settles in a prominent position, third on the outside of Pakistan Star. 1,600 metres out, Glorious Forever leads by a slender margin over Time Warp, who is pressing the issue. He wants to go on with it. They're two in front of Pakistan Star, settling third as Time Warp now charges to the front, going into the back. Furore settled down fourth. Waikuku's deep. Windbright down on the rail from Dark Dream. He's eminent. Midfield 3 wide. He couldn't get across early. Donoso down on the fence, and then Lee's Grasher. Exultant's back to third last alongside of Deirdre, and Eagle Way is the trailer. Time Warp charging towards the halfway point. He leads by 2 lengths over Glorious Forever second. Pakistan Stars had a lovely run third, likewise Furore fourth. Windbright on the inside of Dark Dream. Waikuku's done it tough. A length and a half to Donoso, who's on the inside of Lee's Grasher. She's got clear galloping room now. Trailed then by the favourite Exultant, followed by Deirdre. Eminence under the stick as they slide down the side at the 600. Passed by Eagle Way. Running to the turn in the FWD QE2 Cup, and the leader Time Warp. Only a neck to Little Bro Bag, which is Glorious Forever. Pakistan Star sweating on a run. He gets the gap. Furore, Dark Dream, then Windbright starting to wind up. Further out, Lee's Grasher and Exultant. Glorious Forever took over from Time Warp. Pakistan Star darting through. Then Windbright, Exultant, Lee's Grasher wider out. Pakistan Star narrowly. Windbright, Glorious Forever. Pakistan Star, Windbright goes to him. Windbright is roaring away. Japan do it again.
Japan do it again, Jim.
Yep. Windbright, it's by Stay Gold, who's one of the top Japanese sires, out of an Admire Cuisine mare, so it's proper Japanese pedigree.
Yeah, that's Japanese pedigree.
It's bred by, owned by, trained by Atakeyama.
Okay.
And Matsuka rode it. So
Okay.
Japanese all round. In fact, the Japanese ran first and third. These Grasso ran third. So it was the second favourite, came from a long, long way back. But tremendous race. And
very good race.
we just
Jim.
hope that we're able to get there. Now, talking about good races, Nicky Henderson's got a horse called Altior, which is one of the best around. You know, he really is a good horse. And he's won now 19 straight, which breaks Big Bucks' record. He won at Sandown on Friday.
Sure.
So he's
that's,
a fantastic
that's a
horse.
lot of races, eh?
And he's by...
Nicky
he's
Henderson.
unbeaten in 4 years. He's by High Chaparral.
She's very good.
What
Jim.
an influence. Let's go and see the Magic Millions graduates and have a look what we've got there, because we've had a couple been going good.
Roy's Novice.
Roy's Novice, yeah.
Won a good race the other day, I think, with the Rats.
Came out, it took a long time to win its maiden, but I think it's a Choisier filly.
Yeah, Schwazi, and that's strengthened up.
Yeah, now it's got strong, and it's went and won again.
Yeah, well
soon
done.
after.
Roy Mudley.
Yeah, and okay, we've got time to finish with the worst named horse in America.
This is a great name. How would you call it in a commentary, Jim?
It's good. I think it's a terrible name. You
So shocking now. Voted the worst name in America. It's called The Creep.
Yeah, The Creep.
On the outside, creeping up is The Creep, you know. But so they voted the worst name, The Creep.
That's pathetic. Anyway, that's the worst named horse in America. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in America. Our man...
The Derby's this weekend, isn't it?
The Kentucky Derby this week.
Yes.
And if I were you, I would go for Baffert's runner.
Okay.
Can't remember its name, but I know that he's got a horse that it's a Tappet, big strong horse that won Arkansas Derby the other day.
Okay.
I saw a picture in Bill Murphy's office of the Arkansas Derby winner, whenever it was, being presented with the prize by Bill Clinton. And who was next door? Who was next door to him?
Who?
Monica.
Oh, you being serious?
Being serious, yeah. Making the presentation of the prize.
Gee, well done, eh? Well done to her.
Okay, well, that's it.
What
that's
about
it.
Paul Nichols?
Paul Nichols. Oh, yeah. One is 11th trainer's title.
Is that consecutive?
Consecutive.
Wow, is he a very good trainer, Jim?
Top man. 11 trainers titles, jumping trainers titles, Paul Nichols. What a champion. Right, that's it for us. We'll be back with Steve Marshall talking to us about the Chapter Challenge, which you all want to know about because there's big prize money on offer. Test your knowledge as far as which are the best horses in KwaZulu-Natal are concerned. You had Justin Snaith telling us all his horses were the best horses in KwaZulu-Natal, so maybe you'll be able to make a bit of a log out of him. We'll be back.
Hi, and welcome to Your Call. As we alluded to earlier, we've got Steve Marshall who's come through and tell us all about the Charity Turf Challenge and answer a few questions. It's always a lot of interest around this. Can you find the right horses? It's a wonderful prize. If you get it right, it's big money for small money. It's never easy. I always try, Steve, and I soon get put in my place. Steve, first tell us how you're involved in this, because normally we speak to Peter or Dees or... And secondly, Jim and I were just working out, you're involved with track and ball, obviously. You head track and ball, and you're also involved with the marketing, aren't you?
Yes. Well, the first part of that, track and ball, got involved 3 years ago with the Charity Turf Challenge through Racing South Africa with Peter Gibson. It's a competition that has been running for quite a long period of time. Gold Circle used to sponsor it through Tab Gold, and obviously our association with Gold Circle, being the major shareholder in track and ball. The opportunity came along for a fixed odds bookmaker to take over the sponsorship, which we did 3 years ago.
You come from a racing background. You've got a father who's a great trainer. You've got a brother who's a bookmaker. Is that accurate? Uncle, sorry. Yeah. So you know the game.
Yeah, my grandparents were bookmakers from the 60s.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
history in
you're
the
steeped
game.
in racing, the right guy. Marketing, let's talk about that. Is that up your street?
Yes, I studied marketing at university.
There you go.
At UCT. So yeah, marketing is definitely my forte. The opportunity came about a year ago to come across from track and ball to Gold Circle to head up marketing and events. But yeah, I've still got track and ball as part of my portfolio.
Let's quickly talk, before we talk about Charity Turf Challenge, how's track and ball doing?
It's doing nicely,
Good.
Very nicely.
Many shops?
Yeah, we've got 8 track and ball shops and 4 subsidiaries that we manage as well. Obviously online, call centre as well.
July is coming up, the Vodacom Durban July, you're marketing. You know, Graham Hawkins was in here the other day talking about everything that's going, the rooms have been booked and everything. How's it look from your side? It's
looking very good, Paul. You know, it's an event which obviously captures the imagination of the whole of South Africa. It's not just the racing fraternity. So we're very privileged to have an event like that, you know, under our name. And this year is no different. It's ticking along nicely.
Talk on marketing, because there's always people out there who've got great ideas. You know, you must get flooded with people saying, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? Have you changed much in the short time you've been there?
At this stage, not too much, Paul. There's a few little tweaks that we are doing. We're trying to attract the punter back to the course, not just for the big days, but for the normal racing as well. We've got a venue that we're revamping here on Greyville Racecourse to try and attract that punter. It's going to be almost like a betting shop on course for the bookmakers in there, the tote, a bar, a restaurant, somewhere that is focused for the punter. So
and when will that be available?
We're looking to get that up and going during the season, probably about 6 weeks' time. So it's not going to be ready for the beginning of the season, but we are hoping that it will be ready definitely sometime before the July.
All right, let's talk about the Charity Turf Challenge. Now, the name in itself needs a bit of explanation because I need to know which charities benefit. Do you get enough entries that you have X amount to pay out to a winner and still have a bounce for charity? And the challenge part is what attracts me because I like to think I know who the better horses are. Just explain to people what it's about, the actual competition.
Obviously, the charity side, this year we're supporting the Coastal Horse Care Unit, so there will be a fee paid to them. Generally speaking, the amount that the sponsor ourselves put into the pot.
Sorry, to stop you there. How many sponsors do you get?
Just track and ball, and then Tab Gold does have a 10,000 rand sponsorship for betting vouchers.
Those are the ones that go throughout the competition. Okay, yes, I got you.
So we're supporting the Coastal Horse Care Unit this year. The sponsorship money goes towards paying the actual prize money out, and the entry fees go towards obviously towards the charity.
Okay, I saw on screen that you're looking at 150,000. Is that broken down, or does it go to one person?
No, it is broken down. This year a little bit more than previous years. We've decided to spread the love a bit. Obviously, there's only one winner. And so we've reduced the winners' purse this year to 75,000. Still a decent prize.
Decent prize.
For a 50 rand entry, that's a decent whack. So that's come down to 75. It was 100 last year, but the total prize money is the same. So we've filtered that down all the way down to 7th place.
Okay, so top 7 are going to show a profit, and obviously you have weekly updates and you keep it going. When does it start?
Starts on the 3rd.
Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night is the start of the champion season.
No entries after that, obviously?
No entries after that. This year we're also obviously including the 4th, which is Turffontein Racing. There'll be a lot of horses that are competing there that will then be down here for the champion season. So
if someone wins a big race on the 4th in Joburg, he'll get those points?
He'll get those points.
Now, have you structured it again where you get more points for Group 1 as opposed to Group 2 and Group 3?
Correct. So there is a point system for all feature races during champion season. Group 1 winner gets 20 points, and then it works its way down all the way to listed races as well.
Listed as well?
Correct, yeah.
And do you pay how far? Say you got a horse that runs 3rd in the listed, will you still get a point, or you have to win it? How far down do you go in the placings?
For a listed race, no, it's just the winner that will get 2 points. Yeah.
Group 1?
Group 1, 20 points for the
winner.
For the winner, 14 points for second,
so
10 points for
okay,
third.
So that's a good system. So okay, now how do people enter?
You can go to the Racing Association site, or you can go to the Track and Ball website.
RA site?
Yeah, the RA site, and you just click the links through there. Obviously,
have Gold Circle got something up on theirs?
Yes. On Facebook as well, there'll be links that you'll be able to click through there if you follow.
And then you
Gold
just
Circle
put your money in through your card or whatever way you like.
Correct.
And
you'll be able to enter on course as well, or at any of the tab outlets.
I remember Deeds used to have a little desk there. You sit there with these sandwiches all day on race, especially on Friday, because I think there's 7 features this Friday.
Correct, yeah.
Because the weather played havoc, and we've moved the Group 3s over and that. So people will come racing, I think, on that Friday, and people can come forward. What is it, 50 rand? So 200 rand, you can fill 4 and 4.
And if you go online, for every 5 entries, you get a free entry. So you'll get 6 entries and pay for 5 online. Yeah.
So you're pushing that.
Correct, yeah.
Right, and now what is this Track and Ball account? If you open a Track and Ball account, tell me about that.
So if you've entered for the Charity Turf Challenge, all entrants will get the opportunity to open up a Track and Ball account and get a free 200 rand voucher. All they have to do is deposit 50 rand, they'll get an extra 200 rand, so you've got 250 bucks to kickstart your...
So you've got 250, and that doesn't have to go into this competition, the charity trip. It could go into a bet that the guy wants to have.
Any bet. No,
so he's getting a bonus of 200 rand. If a guy wants to put it in the Charity Turf Challenge, he can.
Absolutely, he can follow his horses. That would make sense. to follow the horses that they've picked.
Yeah, and the format is very similar. I think there's a tweak here or there.
There is. We did it last year as well. We allowed the clients to pick 12 horses. What we found in previous years is that guys would pick their 10 horses, and one or two of those might get injured, or they didn't end up coming to KZN for the season, so they would be effectively penalised because those horses wouldn't be earning them points. The last couple of years, the customers can choose 12 horses. The top 10 horses will earn points. Their top 10 selections will earn the points. It was the same as last year, and it worked very well.
So you're having 12 again. So
Correct.
if you get a legal scenario, if he doesn't come into town, you've
still got your others
to. Now let me just talk about the interest in it. If you've got a situation where the interest is really big, and the guys flock to it, and you get a hell of a lot of money coming in, does it change your prices, or are they set now, 75,000 down to 7th? And does that mean if it's a surplus, does that go to charity, or how do you play it with
the surplus goes to charity? Exactly.
Is that right?
So yeah, that is the ultimate goal. Obviously, it's twofold. One is to obviously bring the interest into the KZN racing season, champion season, and the next is obviously the charity side of it. So the more entrants come in, the more gets donated to the Coastal Horse Care Unit at the end of the day. If we see that we can build this into a much bigger supported competition, then we would look at re-looking at the prizes and things like that.
So
as well.
the idea is great. It's a charity getting money and people getting bragging rights and what have you. Are there any people who are exempt from getting on? I remember Dees and Peter, I think, used to be barred. Not because they knew too much, because they worked in the system.
Look, the guys directly involved, there's not too many people who are directly involved in the administration of the competition. But ourselves as head sponsors, we wouldn't get involved in the competition as track and ball staff. But
what about Gold Circle staff?
Yeah, they can get involved.
The CEO might decide, he likes a wager, he might decide...
as long as he doesn't pick his own horses, I think
or his teams. He's murder, but... So that means that we're all set for a great time. So just to recap here, we're going to have a situation where people can go on the net anywhere, they can get their bets on. Last call will be on Friday evening when you
literally
get here.
just before the feature races start.
Does it take time to clear an online thing?
No. Online is instant. Obviously, the manual entries will be up to a certain point before those main races start, where the horses that are listed are included in those races. So we can't allow the entries to come in after that point in time.
And you've got the situation where you've got your weekly updates and prizes. I know Peter and Dees used to come in, you put your hand and pull out a winner. That continues?
That continues, yes, for vouchers and things like that through the season, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the season. Well, I know you got involved with the marketing and that, and I just want to pick your brain. Are we sold out for the day?
We're getting there. There are a couple of venues where there's still a few seats available. The Silver Ring is one of those.
That's a beautiful venue.
Beautiful venue to watch racing from. So yeah, there are still some seats available, but they are selling out fast. So for those who haven't got their seat for the Vodacom Durban July on course, I'd make haste.
How do you spend the Vodacom Durban July day?
This year is going to be quite different. Previous years I've just been involved with track and ball, so from that point it's watching the liability and how those can build up during the day. It's quite scary, the amount that gets wagered on the day. This year, obviously, I've got a different set of responsibilities, being involved in the marketing and events. So
you'll be floating around?
I will be floating around, but keeping an eye on everything that's going on, and hopefully not having to put out too many fires, but I'll be on call.
Historically, has it been a good day for track and ball, the Vodacom Durban July day? Can you get these massive days where you think, I can't sleep tonight, we've done our lives? Does that creep in?
It happened a couple of years ago. It's as I said, liabilities can build up very quickly with the volume of money that has been wagered on the day. So for us on the track and ball side, it can get quite scary if those favourites start coming in. Obviously on Gold Circle side, it's advantageous for those favourites to come in, because then it generates a churn. So two different perspectives.
Steve, wonderful having you in. It's fantastic. We will see you through the season. You'll come in and tell us how things are going and who's leading, and let's hope it's a wonderful season. And thanks very much, Steve.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, there we go. Steve Marshall, marketing, track and ball, and now charity turf challenge. Make sure you get your forms in. If you don't get online, get down to the races, throw in a leopard, and take yourself 4 bets, because you can got 12 selections out. It's never easy. I always have a go, and I don't think I've been in the top 15 list ever. But that's another story. We'll be back next week. This is the end of Your Call.